Taxi in holding point November Bravo 3, 27 left. Traffic speedbird 99, taxiing low.
Restarted the stream, yeah, there we go. Just prove Streamlabs really is shit. It's my PC, I think it's not Streamlabs, just it can't cope. My PC can't cope with this. I was actually amazed I got so far. I was expecting it to crash before we'd even taken off out of Gatwick, so there we go. Yeah, it doesn't bode well, does it really? It should get easier. I think the further away you get from London, the easier it should get. But there's nothing wrong with the sim. The sim was fine. That was running. It's just, hey Chris, it's just the flipping, yeah, it's just too many things. It's just trying to do too many things at once, I think. This is why I didn't have the banner on. Because I thought, you know, the banner's, you know, it's just something else he's got to be sort of trying to do, really. So I thought I'd just wait until we're far enough away from sort of the UK and everything, and then we can start doing things. Anyway, how are we doing? So that's it. Fuel's been taken from the centre tank. Good. I've gone direct to Pole Hill now, which is sort of likely what we'd be doing. Had that early left turn. Hey Peter. Yeah, apart from the PC being useless. What happens to that Faroe Airlines guy? He's gone. He's disappeared. Oh, that's a shame. He would have been on a similar sort of route. Yeah, he's disappeared. Oh well. So we're going up to 34,000 feet now. That's the cruise altitude. Just put that in managed climb. So yeah, progress. It says the optimum 330. We can squeeze up to 34. That's fine. It's well below the recommended max. That's not a problem at all. Oh hello, mate. You're right, buddy. Oh, my little WFO's turned up. What are you after? You had a good snooze. I need to tidy my room up. There's nowhere for him to stay. Yeah, mate, you look a bit sorry for yourself. Not sure what he wants. He never usually sees me. He doesn't really care about me. Wish I could help your PC issues, but too far away. Yeah, Peter. To be fair, I'm not really in the position yet. Of course, it's just before Christmas, isn't it? Which is not really the best time to be doing this. Oh, good boy. Oh, this is going to settle next to me. God, he never does that. He never usually settles next to me. He couldn't give a shit about me half the time. Yeah, I think that the grand plan will be to update the entire PC at some point, which I may look at doing after Christmas. I think that the hardest thing would be getting the sign-off from the missus. That's going to be the hardest thing. It's not so much the finances or choice of the rest of it. I mean, that's reasonably straightforward. It's just doing it and doing it under the missus' nose, you know, because she's just going to look at me and probably just think, you know, I could spend, I don't know, what's a decent streaming PC go for nowadays? A couple of grand? She's going to be thinking I could be spending money on something else, namely her. So she would be thinking, well, you could have bought me a lovely sort of diamond bracelet or something with that, I don't know. So yeah, I think that's going to be the big mission, is getting something past her. But we'll see how my finances pan out. Hopefully we get a relatively decent bonus this year, so that'd be quite nice as well. If we get that, let's have a quick look. Failures, it's still on. Yeah, still on there. Good. I won't do failures. I think it'd be a shame to do a failure on this one, because this is an interesting stream that I've been wanting to do for a while. Because it's an interesting place to go to, Catsy. So it'd be a shame to do have a failure and then not get in. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. I sort of try and reserve any failures for something that's a bit more straightforward. How are we doing for the weather anyway? That's what I'm interested in looking at. No, I don't look at Gatwick. I've seen Gatwick. I've left Gatwick. Akureyri. So what do we got now? 210 gusting. There we go. That's doable. Yeah, 190 at 21, gusting 31. That's fine. Light showers, few at 2000. Good. That's all looking good. Temperature's quite warm actually, 9 degrees. All the pressure's dropped. Yeah. It's obviously a low pressure system running through the island at the minute, isn't there? Going through. Where's the? Just have a look at the windy app. The windy app's always pretty good for these things. There's the. Oh, let's see that one. Let's see. Look at the pressure. Pressure. Wind. There we go. Pressure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not too bad. Just curse a lot, and if she asks why you do curse your bloody PC and how it drives you mad, maybe she'd give you a thumbs up. Yeah, but she's not here. That's the problem, Christian. Like, I only really get to stream when she's gone to bloody work. When she's at home, she's got to be doing other things, so I don't get a chance to stream when she's at home. Or very rarely, occasionally, her cousin will come round and treat me to a Friday night sort of, piece, and then I can do it. But yeah, normally. I only really get to do it when she's not here, so she never hears me. Hey Alan, how you doing? Sorry, sorry Alan, I will get back to those SOP questions. I will get back to you at some point, so I know I've got a bit of time off. Might be able to do that, or start an OnlyFans and show more of your legs. Yeah, I think she'd earn more money if she was doing OnlyFans, to be honest. No, it's so rare. My dog's actually sitting behind me. Very rare, but good for him. And so it's not lunchtime yet. Tied to a chair, forced her to watch my streams. Yeah, it might be a good way. Yeah, convince her to do it. Right, where are we? Still 34,000. Still, I don't think there's any ATC on. No, Edinburgh Tower's on. A couple of things, but no en route stuff. No. Yeah, she just sees through my bullshit. That's the problem. Yeah, it will have to be a bit of a stealth purchase. I'll have to do it and then just somehow, what's the word? It'd be a bit of a clandestine mission and update it that way. And then I can, she might notice it one day and just go, "Oh, did you get a new PC?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we just, traded it in or something." Can you trade PCs in? I don't know if you can, probably. What do you do with old PCs? Do you recycle them? I don't really know. Need to ask Dark, because there's obviously components in here which he may want back, so maybe. I don't know. I think I forgot to close the door. I did forget to close the door. Oops, there we go. So why didn't that say open? See, that should say... That's why I look down on that when you sort of see the doors. So that should say... Yeah, there we go. Oh, we got a fault light on one of the door things. Interesting. So that's not working. There you go, Phoenix. That's either a fault or it should be working. All the other lights work. I wonder what the MEL says about that, actually. Let's have a quick look. Yeah. See, I looked down at that and didn't actually forgot the door was open. So yeah, there should be an open light if the door's open. Stealth purchase. Yeah, just let me buy my blood. Yeah. Electric's junk. Here, old PC parts end up in old PCs when you go to the tip. Yeah, I can imagine that's probably going to happen. Rarely sell stuff to others. Anyway, let's look at the MEL. What would it be under? Doors, wouldn't it? There we go. So the cockpit door open light, this is what the ML says about this. So, one installed, number required 0, needs to be placarded, maybe inoperative, so yeah, we can still go, that's good. Photo ops. Just check the door is there. There we go. That's the procedure. Just turn around and check that the door's closed. So pretty simple. Pretty simple procedure. Yeah, it is, Liana. Yes, it's. I think Gav and Dark put it together for me, and very kindly donated it. I think it's actually Gav's old PC. I think it's his old one. But I mean, don't be wrong. I'm very grateful of having this PC. But I think for the purposes of streaming, and everything's getting a little bit better now, isn't it? All the scenery's getting a bit better. You going? You know, he's obviously bored. Off he goes. Yeah, graphics are getting a little bit better. Scenery's getting better. Everything else, it's all getting a bit more intensive, isn't it, on the graphics card, etc. So we could probably do with getting a sort of fresh upgrade one day. Yeah. Again, I'm not too sure that's going to fly. Alright, so it's the first level off waypoint, Embor. Now we've taken an extra 4 tons, so this figure's going to be well off. What's contingency as well? Contingency won't be too bad. Yeah, it's 366. Yeah. It's 400 plus 4 tons is 4.4. So what's that, 8? So, about 12.4. Should be about 12.5 tons of being Embor, which is looking pretty good. Company message, who's that? It's probably a delay, because we're ever so slightly delayed getting out. Receive messages. Oh, it's another load sheet. Oh, that was useful, wasn't it? Preliminary. Yeah. Useful not. Right, it's 3,000 to go. I don't know actually now. What am I on? So it's in the specs, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think I've updated this for a while. I don't think I have to set it to a crit. Yeah, I have to. I mean, what I have to do is basically get something for her and me at the same time, and then she'll be less bothered about it, I suppose. Right, Mac out start. And I'm going to burn a bit more fuel just because I want to get there as soon as I can. So 7-8 selected. What time has it got us in? It's 2:15, yeah, 2:15. That's okay. It gives me about an hour to sort myself out before I've got to take off. Take the dog out. So Mac out cruise. You're on below. So fuel, what's that? Use 2 tons. So that's about 14.5. That's what we left with. It's looking balanced. There's no leaks. APU's obviously off. Conditioning, that's fine. Doors are good. Wheels good. Flight controls, yeah, they all look good. No abnormal positions. Engines, that's all looking fine. Bleed. Yeah. Good. Electrics. Hydraulics. Good. Wonderful. Overnight Swingify site. Yeah, it will be back. It'll be something along those lines, I think. It'll be something just to keep her sweet. Alright, let's have a quick look at the weather. I'm not going to bother doing it in the sim because it's easier just on the app. Let's have a quick look. That's where are we? Approaching Manchester. So we can just read these out. Manchester, we've got 0308 knots, so probably 05 in use, scattered at 3000. It's good, nice IQ and H. No significant change. So Manchester's looking pretty good on the route. Let's have a look at Edinburgh, since that's probably the alternate. 2505, good, so that's runway 24. Temporary gusting, that's later today, so that's fine. Gatwick case, so Edinburgh's absolutely fine. So we'll look at Inverness, and we'll go past there as well. Inverness is good, yeah. Right, let's have a look at Vagar. Wouldn't actually, EasyJet aren't approved to go into there, but potentially, or at least the wind's not too bad. Visibility's a little bit lower. Be interesting what the minimum is for that. I wonder if I can. Let's get you. What is the minimums for Vagar? I'm sure it's not that bad. Is it? UK VG. $2,500 meters. Yes, you can do that. RMP. RMP. Yeah, we could do that one. Yeah, no, that's alright. We could get into Vagar if we really, really needed to. Right, let's have a quick look at. So Akureyri is settling down a little bit. 190.21, gusting 31. Is that the latest? That is the latest. So Akureyri is actually still fine. It's a bit windier, but it's still doable. Keflavik is 230.23, gusting 35. Nice. Gusting for horrible. But we could still probably get in. A night costs more than a new PC. Seriously? No. Bloody hell, a night in a 3-star hotel is not going to cost a couple of grand. Well, it depends what bloody hotel you go to. I won't go to a hotel that expensive. It's only my wife. Go on. She's not that important. Oh God, she is that. Looks like also London, mid-December now, last minute conference. Already warned them. My expenses. But easily break. Nice, well, if they're happy to pay it, Willie. Another company message. Who else? Now he's talking to me. See, he's jet up. So there we go. Late. Yeah, 4 minutes. Oh, God, really? Doesn't matter. So weather's clearing up. So hopefully the stream will be fine now. Any word on that volcano? Well, I don't know actually, Backers. I mean, it's an interesting thing. There's a NOTAM about it, or say a NOTAM. Nice view out of Manchester's off here to the left somewhere. Yeah, there was a NOTAM, which kind of, what did it imply? There we go. Temporarily, in case of eruption in Iceland, Akureyri will be defined as a level 3 airport. I've got no idea what that means. Fully coordinated. Snot is required for all arrivals and departures. The criteria restriction for this airport is for all aircraft type C and inwards. That's fine with Cat C. Only flight Type J and C will be accepted. Not quite sure what that means. Due to the limited parking space, scheduled cargo flights will be handled on an ad hoc basis. Depends on other movements. Turnaround time is to be set as a minimum of 55 minutes, maximum 3 hours. Linked SCR, I don't know what that is. No idea. In order to operate under the above circumstances, mandatory that coordination dress. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. But you might better get there if the thing has got. What's your call sign? It is. What is it? Some bastard nicked the real world call sign. So it should have been 28 X-ray Tango, I think. Somebody else was using that, so I've logged in as 28 X-ray Sierra. So yeah, I've had to take that one. But there we go. 3-star costs away about 20 quid. Yeah, well, I could just use my Marriott points. Some part of the Marriott's loyalty scheme. Just use them. I could probably get them quite cheap. Normal service. Oh, J normal service. Oh, there we go. Hold on, Christian. Google's your friend, eh? Right, what else have I got to do? Not more. Not much else. Just got to sit here and watch the world go by. So there we go. Can we see Manchester? It's down here somewhere. Is that it over there? Maybe. I don't know. I can't see from here. Somewhere off the left-hand side. Don't know. No idea. Somewhere around there. Google is your second name, yeah. So the flight plan today as well, it's not something I've really discussed actually, but it's one thing which, you're going to zoom, there you go, thank you very much. So if we look at the airspace, I think a few people do this and they probably look at it the wrong way, don't quite do it, no, I don't know, they don't know the rules. So you've got a couple of oceanic airspaces here. So we've got Shanwick, this is Shanwick airspace here. And this is what's known as MNPS airspace, so minimum navigation performance specific, I can't remember, minimum navigation performance, something, whatever. It's oceanic airspace basically, and to fly into this you need certain equipment. And one of the equipment you need now is ADSC, which is automatic daily link surveillance, something, I can't remember. But you do need certain equipment to fly in this airspace between a certain flight level. Now, we don't fly in this airspace yet, we're not allowed to do it because we don't have the equipment, so we have to stay in sort of domestic airspace, i.e. the Scottish airspace here and Reykjavik. So there's a few flight plans that you might see if you do this on SimBrief. You might see a few flight plans, and the route takes you through this airspace. I think it's called Blue Spruce. I think it's Blue Spruce. Now, technically, you can do this. You can do the sort of Blue Spruce route, but you have to descend below flight level 280 to go through or go underneath this airspace. Alternatively, you just do the route I do, and you go up through a waypoint called Ratsu, and that is right on the corner. So if you stay here, there you go. So if you stay on this, you basically go through the corner at Ratsu. So then you can stay in the sort of domestic airspace from Scottish and then into Reykjavik airspace. So that's the flight plan I've done, which is probably very, very similar to the real world flight. The real world flight actually went a bit further east. They went up here, and then they went in this way, interestingly. So that's what they did. I'm not too sure what the arrival is for that, but this is what I've done, just a bit more sort of direct, I suppose. In fact, what are the arrivals? Because it did say it had one, Pexel, it was that one there, I think. Pexel 1 November, was that it? Well, no, it was this one here, I think. Yes, there's an arrival this way which you can use. They must have come in from this one. They must have used like Mamep maybe. Settle down, please. Slight change in the wind shifts. So yeah, potentially we could change that and go in via Mamep, but I think we've got what's in the flight plan will probably be absolutely fine. Then we've got this route here. So yeah, I think that's fine. The real world guys say may have gone in via Mamep possibly, because they came in a bit more from the east. Let's have a quick look. What does it say on there? Vector may be used, yeah, potentially loss of RMP. Good, yeah, no, nothing too much on there to worry about. Let's have that in the arrival and ILS 19. Minimums. So minimums are going to be 710 feet. So that's the other thing which I haven't really discussed yet. I've actually done a tutorial on this airfield, which I should be hopefully releasing pretty soon. I might be able to just release it today after this one. And it's just a recorded tutorial, and I'm not trained for this airport, so the caveat is there that I don't know exactly what the real world procedures are. I know roughly what they are, and I can use a little bit of deductive logic to work out what a lot of things are as well. But it's just to discuss a couple of the arrivals that we do. I'm not going to brief it now because it kind of negates the purpose of the tutorial video, but so I've got the arrival of the ILS into runway 19, and then there's another approach that we can do. Where is it? It's a VOR Alpha. There we go, Lock Alpha. That's the other one that we would do if we were landing on runway 01. So it's just a tutorial that goes through both the arrival, sort of how you would fly them, also looks at the departures as well, and what departures you would probably use, and just a couple of things really to consider. So yeah, it's a tutorial video which I will hopefully release soon. I just need to write a description for it really and just get it live. I think I've uploaded it. I think it's actually on the channel. I just haven't actually what's the word? Publicised, is that the right word? Yeah, released. I think it's just not out yet for people to view, but it is there. So hopefully that would be quite useful to people that do want to come up here to Akureyri. Because I've seen a couple of people stream, and again, I'm being very, very nice when I say this, because I know they don't really know probably much better, but they don't really have a clue what they're doing, which is no reflection on them. I'm not criticising them, you know, why would they know what they're doing if they're not real-world pilots, certainly not real-world airline pilots. So, yeah, it's just to really clarify a few points, because I've seen a couple of people go here on a stream, and unfortunately they're just doing maybe slightly wrong things, or things that you probably wouldn't normally do, or do an approach that you're not really allowed to do either. So, yeah, it just clarifies a few things with that as well. So hopefully it should be a relatively useful tutorial when you get to see it, when I can do it. When I can release it, which hopefully should be later today. I don't think there's anything else I need to look at. So it nearly sucked out all the fuel in the centre tanks. One thing you do want to be really careful of is you do get a direct to Ratsu. You want to be careful you don't then obviously infringe the airspace. That is showing, which is quite easy to define really. All you've got to do is put a radial from Ratsu. Now you're unlikely to do that if you're a bit more further west. Or certainly if you're a bit further west, you might get a direct to Ratsu from here, and then early on you might get a direct to waypoint up here or something like ING or something, and then you could actually, technically you could infringe airspace if you had something like that. I think it's highly unlikely that ATC would ever clear you for something like that, but you do have to be relatively aware, I suppose, and conscious of the airspace around it. So no problem with flying the 3.0, so that's fine. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it might work. You know, you can probably do it. I'm sure I've seen somebody do it on a 737. Hey, you know, if it works, it works. But you know, of course, in the real world, you know, you're not allowed to do it. So that's why we don't do it. Right, you're in. That's all done. Loads of extra fuel. So we wanted loads of extra fuel because obviously we want enough to go somewhere else. Interesting. What's so Edinburgh is another 2 tons. That'd be 4.6. So if we had Edinburgh, GPH, this is worst case. So 51 minutes. Yeah, we still got another 51 minutes to play with. Let's give it another go. Maybe sort of getting low pressure on the centre tank pumps. So it's just going to scavenge the last little remnants out of that, and then we're just feeding off the main tanks. Ooh. Still don't think there's any ATC, upper airspace. No, it's all sort of airports, that's fine. Ooh, Orbx has a Black Friday sale. Oh, don't tempt me. Wonder what's on offer. Let's have a look. Any decent airports? Newcastle. I haven't got Newcastle actually. I could do. Have I got Newcastle? I don't know if I do actually. I might have Newcastle. I can't actually remember. Rovaniemi. I think I've got Rovaniemi. Seattle, don't have that. I don't really know. I've got to go there. Bilbao, I don't think I've got that. No. Nah. New releases. London, that's X-Plane. Nah. Nothing that I'm probably going to bother spending money on. Go away. Just trying to sort something out, just registering something for a finance company, just to try and sort some things out, but it's not really working very well, which is a bit frustrating. Yeah, first world problems, I suppose. Yeah, right, let's remember that. So that's, I'm sure, what other things are, I'm sure I've got a few things to do. Well, there's EHAM scenery updates. Oh, is there? Is that the fly tamper one? Yeah, I think the fly tamper, again, it's just, it needs to... No, I think the fly tamper one's okay, actually. I haven't actually seen it, I don't have it, but I think it's okay. I think if you can adjust the GSX stuff, it's good. Mike, how you doing? Hi, HD, hope you're well, nice to see you. Good, what's your thoughts on the new FCU plan? Sure way of avoiding those... Yes, no, Mike, that's a very good point, actually. Gav messaged me last night, he showed me that he got it delivered, obviously he put the video up as well, and was sort of doing a quick... a review of it when he got it. I'm quite impressed, actually. I think it looks pretty good, because I was saying to him, because he was saying, oh, you know, is there any tactile feel on the buttons? So you know what you get, and I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the exact numbers, but when you move the knobs, there is a tactile click, much like if you've got a mouse. If you've got a mouse wheel, like I've got, there is a tactile click every time you move the mouse wheel, like sort of one increment. And it's the same. You've got a tactile click with all the rotary switches, so you can sort of feel there's you know, it's actually moved one position, I suppose. And I think there's about 60. There's maybe about 60 clicks. I can't quite remember what it is. But you know, when you turn it slowly, they move by one unit effectively. So you know, either one knot if you've got a knot, or you know, 1 degree on the heading, or you know, 1,000 foot or 100 feet, whatever it is you've set on the the altitude, and 100 feet or whatever it is, or degrees. So there is a tactile feel to it, which is very, very nice. There isn't when you push it. So when you pull and push, there is no tactile feel. So there's literally spring loaded. So it's sort of spring loaded to a neutral position, which, if you can sort of see that, there we go. Hang on, let me try and get a bit closer. There we go. So yeah, it's sort of in a neutral position, and there is a push. And will it do it? Probably not, because I'm in the wrong place. And come on, where's the click spot for pulling it? I don't know. Yeah, so there's a spring-loaded action, but there's no click to it. And Gav was saying to me, so is that realistic? And I said, yeah, it is. As long as it's got the clicks on the rotary part, but just a spring-loaded on the push and the pull bit, that's perfectly normal. So it sounds like it's a very good box, and it is very realistic. And I did say to him, well, how's that going to work when it's on your desktop? Because obviously if you're pushing and pulling thing, you're going to be pushing and pulling it all around. But then I saw that it's got suckered pads on it, which is quite nice. So at least then you can just stick it to the desktop, I suppose, and do it that way. And I suppose I'd have a bit of space if I had one. I could have it next to me and use that. I think it's quite a good system. Is it WinWing? They've got one coming out as well. So there's obviously going to be a bit of competition between the two of them. I think Gav was saying the cable that plugs into the back of it is maybe a bit short. Maybe they need to look at that and make a much longer cable, because obviously it's got to go from the back of the box and then into your PC. So you're going to have enough ports as well. I must admit, I'm not too sure. I don't think I've got many USB sockets left on my PC. So I'm not even too sure if I had one. I don't even know where I'd plug it in. I'd have to have a look. But yeah, you're gonna then have to have enough USB sockets, on the back of your PC to make it work. But I do think it's really good. I think it's a good product to have. It'd be nice if they could do a product that was maybe a complete unit, maybe both EFIS panels as well. If you had an EFIS panel, if that could then just at least plug into the main FCU part. May not need one on the right hand side. Depends whether you're going to sit on the left or the right hand seat, I suppose. But if they sold these bits separately as well, I think as long as they plugged into that and then that would plug into the back of PC, then you wouldn't need multiple USB bits. But yeah, I think it's good. It's a nice addition. I don't know how much money they cost, but they're not going to be cost fortunes, I suppose. Obviously that's relative, really, isn't it? Depends what your disposable income is. But it's a nice peripheral to have, because I do think it's quite good. Annoyingly, I don't actually think the click spots are too bad on the FCU in the Fenix. It's the bloody overhead lights which do my head in. You go to put the lights on, there's a very small spot, which they work, and the FMGC is another one. So when you come to the FMGC and you want to press a button, it's not going to do it now, is it? Because it's going to be an arse. But it's yeah, you can sort of it's not so bad now, but you get the little indication with the mouse. There you go, you get the mouse cursor which sort of goes left and right, and of course if you click that, if you just happen to land on the click spot which has got the left or right arrows to it rather than the fingers, you don't end up pressing the buttons. Now I don't know why that's there. I don't know. There you go, there's another one. I mean, not that I want a button or anything, but I don't understand why, certainly on the grounds, you find, there you go, if you just happen to put the mouse in the right place, why it's defaulted to a sort of a left and right cursor. Why can that click spot, that box around that number 5, just be purely a button, a button push? I don't really get it. So this is what annoys me more, is the FMGC click spot seems to be a lot worse. But there we go. They can sort that out. I'm just going to sit here and whinge about it as like I usually do. Isn't there some sort of Airbus auction for that? Possibly. There might be, Christian, but I mean, you can imagine rewiring a real world FCU panel for a PC. Your homemade is fairly heavy, so push. Oh, there we go, Leon. Yeah, so if you've got a homemade one, yeah, if you wear it down quite a bit. Yeah, I think I saw some on the Discord about the WinWing one, which, I mean, that it's another competitive product, isn't it, I suppose? So that could be quite interesting to see. And WinWing, I don't have any of their products, but I believe they're they're pretty good, aren't they? I think they're generally pretty good quality. So that'd be quite nice to see now. There probably is my, yeah, I'm sure America got everything. Yeah, hooking it up. Yeah, I think that'd be the challenge. You wouldn't be getting the part, etc. You know, necessarily, would it? I suppose you'd have to gut everything in here, just have the sort of tactile buttons, and then just get some sort of electronics, you know, some sort of VCB board or something, and then wiring everything up. That would be the challenge, but you know, possibly. Clicks, what's the kind of? Yeah, I think they are. I think you're right, Christian. They are a little bit, depends on kind of where you are, but of course, you know, a lot of the time the camera angle is just the natural one, just in the flight deck, isn't it? And you just sort of, you can zoom down rather than sort of doing, you know, that sort of view, because then you're just going back and forth. You know, a lot of the time I just look down and zoom in into the FMGC, because that's generally what we do in real life. You know, and if then the click spots are, but I don't understand why there's a different click spot. There's a different function for it. That's what annoys me. I'm not a programmer, so I don't quite know how things work. So it's probably not quite as easy as what I'm making it out to be. I'm sure it's a little bit harder. That should be... There you go. Be nice when the weather aid actually works again. Takes a lot of wires to wire it up. Yeah, I'm quite jealous of people that know how to do electronics, because I don't really have a clue. I just, yeah, I don't know much about electronics at all, unfortunately. So I should get a relatively nice view out of Edinburgh out the window. Let me get that. Ooh. Looking like a very nice day up in Scotland. I have the Scalarchy desktop, based on fly-by-wire, but too bad things. Yeah, Gav did comment on this yesterday. There's something with the Fenix doesn't allow third-party software or applications or something. I couldn't quite remember what he was saying. Again, he probably knows it a bit better than I do, but Fenix has some limitation, doesn't it, I think, to third-party software or peripherals or something. Which I suppose is a shame, really. They don't need to have that sort of restriction. I suppose they're protecting their product maybe a little bit. Yeah, realistic weather radar. It's one thing which I think the sim is kind of missing, is just the realistic weather engine. Not so much in the display, because I think what's actually displayed is pretty good, but just the weather engine in terms of then showing it on the ND. What's that? Oh, for fuck's sake. Noticeable steering fault. Piss. Right then. Oh, we're not going to. Right. There we go. I'm gonna leave this open. I'm gonna leave this open for discussion. So we have a fault that's come up, a failure, which is obviously something, just a random failure in the Fenix. It's just silence you. So I'm going to put it to vote. Do you want me to clear this fault and just basically assume it never happened, so we can continue going to Akureyri? Because that's the whole point of today, is showing you Akureyri. Now, I will add the caveat, I do have a tutorial for Akureyri coming out, so you would still see what to do there, even if I don't do it in this stream here. So that's one option. Clear the faults and continue to show it, because the weather is a little bit crap. Or would you like me to treat this fault as genuine and then actually deal with it? And then, I mean, straight away, I know straight away, I'm not going to continue with that. So unless I can clear the faults. So never got that one. No, there we go. So it's up to you. Can I do a poll? I don't know. Can I do polls? I probably could in. I don't know. I can't. Can I do polls? I don't know if I can do polls. How do you do a poll? What would happen now if you had this fault? Swear, Christian, you'd just sit there and just say bollocks, probably multiple times. But I'm not going to panic. So yeah, there we go. Do a tick or something. Let me so I'm not leading you. There you go. Right. So if you want me to clear the fault and carry on, just write clear. If you want me to, or if you want me to, clear it. Or if you want me to treat it as genuine, just keep. There we go. Clear to clear it, and keep to keep it. Doesn't reset the auto brake. Clear it. No, but there's it's in the QRH mic, so it's a fault. So generally, whenever you, as a rule of thumb, whenever you see a fault with anything, there's a good chance it might be a QRH reset, so a reset table. So we have a look at this. Let me just have a look. Let's just give it a random 320 Neo. There we go. So I could at least try and clear it, see if it does. Brake system faults. Landing gear. Come on, landing gear. Where is it? It's in here somewhere, I'm sure it is. There we go. Wheel. So, oh, there we go. So there is a QRH procedure for this. So it's a wheel nozzle steering fault. So there is a QRH. It's in the reset table. But it does say on ground only. So the QRH reset procedure is an on ground only problem. How about you clear the fault but talk over what happened if you don't? Well, there's another option. Yeah, can do. So I mean, yeah, we can do that if you want. We can clear it but sort of talk about what we would do. So I mean, obviously, the first thing. I mean, I've not really done this properly because, again, I'm not really too bothered by it. But I mean, the first thing, obviously, you got an ECAM, so you just want to sort of look at it. So obviously, the main things is just make sure the aircraft's flying. Now, I mean, you can read it straight away. This isn't going to affect the aircraft flying at all. But I mean, to keep things, sort of genuine, I suppose, and sort of strict failure management. You clear, silence the caution, which we've done. Make sure the aircraft's fine. So you just want to sort of check all the FMAs. The speed's still good. We still got the FMAs, Mac out, cruise nav, AP1, flight director 1 and 2, all of thrust. So everything is working. So we know the aircraft is working as it should be. So that's the first thing. Aviate, fly, whatever they want to call it nowadays. So you can't steer anymore. No, Christian. This is but basically that is the crux of it. So the aircraft's good. Navigate well. I mean, nothing's happened. The autopilot's still doing the FMGC. We've still got loads of fuel. So in terms of navigation, the aircraft is doing exactly what it should do. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Communicate. Again, it's only rush to communicate. This is not an emergency. This is not really a pan. This is more of an annoyance. So we're going to have to communicate this to someone at some point, and we basically have to come up with a decision. So are we going to carry on, or are we going to divert, or are we even going to go back to Gatwick? I mean, there's a chance we could go back to Gatwick with this because we've probably got enough fuel. So we're going to have to communicate that decision at some point when we get there. So yes, that sort of communication is going to need to happen. Obviously, you communicate with your first officer and you would deal with this. And then effectively once you're sort of satisfied everything's done, you would just say my radio, or my ECAM actions, my radios, ECAM actions, what do you want to do? That would be cleared, and then the first officer, in this case because I'll be pilot flying, would just say wheel, nose wheel steering fault. Now there's no OEBs, no operator engineer in Bullington. Would you fuck off? I don't know who you are, but go away. So, what was I saying? So there's no OEBs that affect this. No OEBs, maybe a slight amendment to what the procedures are in the QRH or anything else, but there's no OEBs that affect this. There is a reset, which we just looked at that. I mean, I knew it was in the QRH straight away, but there's the only reset applicable is on ground. So if we had this on the ground, we could do something, but we're not in the air, obviously. So the QRH procedure isn't applicable to this either. So next thing we kind of want to have a look at is then the abnormal stuff in the FCOM, because the abnormals are going to go for this a little bit, a bit more detail. And at some point we'd probably be speaking to the company. We'd send a message to, send an ACARS message to MOC to say, hi guys, we've just got a wheel nose wheel steering fault. This is looking pretty genuine. It's gone amber now on the lower SD page of the wheel page as well. So I'm fairly happy this is not going to be an indication problem or something spurious. This is probably a genuine problem with the aircraft, so that the nose wheel steering is now not working. So we're going to send a message to effectively MOC and Ops saying, look, we've got a problem here, and this can affect things like crosswind limits. So if there is a crosswind, because we've got no nose wheel steering, the effective crosswind that the aircraft can now land at would be reduced, because we don't have effective steering on the ground. So we're now looking at probably an airport we want to go to that's got relatively still winds, certainly not much of a crosswind, because we know that directional control once we land may be a little bit of an issue. As Christian says as well, that you're not going to be able to vacate off the runway. You could use differential braking, potentially that's one option you could do, but I mean, I'm probably not going to do that. I've never really taxied this aircraft using differential braking. I probably don't really want to start trying it with passengers on board either. So just having a quick look at the hydraulic fluids to just make sure there's no problems with that. So it's not a loss of hydraulic fluid at least. So at least that should be fine. So let's just have a quick look at the FCOM and see what it says. Procedures, abnormals, wheel nose wheel steering fault. So here we go. So this is just a random A320 I've got. So it says wheel nose wheel steering fault. The alert triggers when the nose wheel steering has failed, which is what we've basically determined. It's crew awareness for the time being. So we can clear this because there's no ECAM procedures, so we can just say clear wheel, and then we've got the status page. So we've kind of discussed resets. We can't do any resets for this because it's on ground only. We've discussed OEBs, expanded checklist, not really. There's nothing in the QRH for this apart from the reset. I don't think there is any. Let me just have another quick look. Is there anything at QRH? Rattle my brains, abnormals. Wheels, no. So the only thing in the QRH is the wheel tire suspected damage, so that's not in there. So this is why we're looking at the FCOM. So we've got here Cat 3 single only, and this is basically because of this, because we're not got any rollouts effectively, so don't have any rollouts capability of the aircraft for an auto land. So Cat 3 duals inoperative and nose wheel steering. So when we do a landing, we should only get Cat 3 single displayed on the FMA. So it's not a major issue, and you wouldn't continue with the cause lack of Christian. So that's the other thing we want to sort of look at. So this is obviously a bit of an issue. So the other thing we want to probably have a quick look at is the MEL. Now I'm fairly sure the MEL will say that we can't dispatch with this. Let's have a quick look. ECAM entries, landing gear. So the MEL basically says if the nose wheel steering electrical deactivation box is failed, we can refer to that. In all other cases, there's a no dispatch. Now, I've got no idea if it's the nose wheel steering electrical deactivation box. I've got absolutely no idea. To be honest, I'm not an engineer, so I'm going to assume that this has failed and we're effectively in no dispatch situation. So we're collecting our information now of kind of what's wrong with the aircraft. We sort of want to know our options. Now, we've had a look at the weather. We've seen the weather behind us isn't too bad. Let's have a quick look at Edinburgh again, because Edinburgh is probably our nearest alternate. So let's have a quick look. So the weather in Edinburgh, of course this is EasyJet, so Edinburgh's a base, we'd have engineers there. So we've got 250 at 4, which is great. So we know the weather's very, very, very light in Edinburgh and there's not much of a crosswind. It's Cavalcade, so already Edinburgh's looking like a pretty good place. We've got Glasgow's another one, that's next door to us, that's another option. Let's have a look at that. Variable 2, no clouds detected, so we know Glasgow's pretty good. If we went a bit further south, if there was no engineering cover to fix this in Glasgow and Edinburgh, we can look at Manchester. Manchester's not too bad, 030 at 12. It's a little bit of a crosswind, but very, very, very light. In Gatwick, we have 330 at 10 knots. So Gatwick isn't too bad, but there's more of a crosswind in Gatwick than anywhere else, so probably less likely to look at there. So we're effectively now just sort of working out what we want to do, and again, we'd want to sort of speak to Ops and MOC and say, look, I don't think this is a good idea to go to Akureyri, and let's have a look at the wind in Akureyri as well. And the reason I say that is because the wind is 190.15, gusting 25. Now, even though it's not much of a crosswind, it's very, very strong winds, and there's some snow showers there later as well. So we know it's potentially going to be contaminated. So to land in a contaminated runway without any nose wheel steering, I mean, straight away, I think off the top of my head, you can't do that anyway. I just think that's a no-go. You can't do it because obviously you can't then, you don't have any steering, which on a contaminated runway is not a good place to be. So straight away, I think Akureyri is well out of the question, and as Christian said, there's probably no engineering service there anyway. But this one is, yeah, it would, yeah, Leon, yeah. This could be a very genuine fault. We might get this. This can happen in the air. I don't think I've had this one. I don't actually think I've had this in the air. But there's no reason why this couldn't happen. It's it's an electric jet at the end of the day, so things do fail. So let's just have a sort of quick sort of overview of everything, and we use our sort of DODA failure management really to look at this. And I usually sort of preempt this with T, so I always say time. So in terms of the time, how much time have we got? Well, we got 10 tons of fuel. We're burning 2 tons an hour, so we've got 5 hours worth of fuel effectively. We sort of probably 4.5 before we get down to sort of final reserve. So we got loads of time, absolutely hours and hours of fuel to deal with this. So there's no other problems. I'm sure there's no fuel leaks. No, that's all looking good. So just make sure there's no sinister underlying problems and leaking fuel that could be there. So we've got loads of fuel and loads of time. We know the failures of nose wheel steering, and we probably don't want to do that. So let's just have a quick look at the rest of the FCOM. So I'm going to go into DODA a little bit too early. So it says Cat 3 single, which we know that. There's a note there: if the landing gear shock absorber fault is also displayed, well, it isn't, so we don't really have to worry about that. But this is, do you remember the American aircraft, whatever it was, I can't remember, was it US Airways or, no, it's Blue, who was it, who was that blue one? I can't remember. If the landing gear shock absorber fault is also displayed, then the nose wheel may be at the maximum deflection 90 degrees from centre. So if we had a landing gear shock absorber fault on here as well, we know that the nose wheel may not be aligned with the centre line of the runway. It might be deflected by 90 degrees. So then you've got the issue where you're landing with the nose gear at 90 degrees, which is obviously not very good either. JetBlue, thank you, Christian, that one. Yes, you have that situation. We don't have that ECAM, so we don't have to worry about it. It says automatic rollout is not permitted. Well, we know that because there's no nose wheel steering. So if you look at the sort of the tables, the required equipment for Cat 2 and 3 approaches, it does say, where are we? Cat 3 single. Where have we got? Nose wheel steering, it says 1 for the automatic rollout. Now we're not doing an auto land, the weather's not that bad anywhere, so auto lands we don't really have to worry about too much. So yeah, I'm trying to rattle my brains. There's nothing in here about maximum crosswind conditions, and I'm sure there's something somewhere, and I'm trying to think where it is. It might be in the limitations. Let me just have a quick look at the limitations. Limitations. Landing gear. Nose wheel steering. Nope. Nope. Yes, so we've got table for maximum crosswinds. Yeah, for some reason I'm rattling my brains. I thought there was a restriction on the crosswind limit for this, and I want to say it was 15 knots. That rings a bell somewhere, and for the life of me I can't actually find the reference. As per usual, I can't actually find what I'm looking for. But I suspect there may be a 15 knot limit, and I can't remember why. It's just in the back of my head, that's kind of what I remember. But there's nothing in the FCOM to suggest that, so I may be just being a bit over-conservative there. I may not be, I don't know. But either way, we know that the weather, certainly in Edinburgh, is fine, so it's not that sort of crosswind anyway. So given all this information, so we said effectively what we've had. We've got nose wheel steering fault. We know the options. We've got lots of options. We've got Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester. We've got enough fuel to get to all of those. We're probably not going to continue on to Akureyri with this. We certainly wouldn't be going to Gatwick because the wind's just as bad there. I can't seem to find a crosswind limit. I will have to sort of go searching the manuals, but I definitely need to look at it. I could double check this with Ops. If I ever had the doubt and I couldn't find any reference, I would actually ask them and just say, can you double check, or get the duty pilot to check, do we have a crosswind limit with this failure? There isn't anything in the FCOM, which does surprise me. I thought there was, but obviously, I don't know, it's not there. I thought it would be there, but it doesn't say it. So there we go. It doesn't appear to suggest there's a crossing limit, but I do think there is. So that was a great landing picture. Yeah, there we go, Chris. Yeah, it was. They did a good job on that. So those are the options. We've got to decide now what we're going to do. So if we had this in real life, so my decision would probably be to turn around. I would probably be looking at Edinburgh. Again, be coordinating with Ops and MOC to say, look, this is the failure. We know Edinburgh is a base, we know there's engineering there, so it's probably a good place to go to. Ops may say, I don't know, they don't have the part, maybe Manchester might be better, they might have better engineering cover there. I don't know, it might say Edinburgh is absolutely fine. So I'd probably, my number one choice would be looking to divert to Edinburgh now, turning around. Now, there's no real need for a pan for this because there's no real immediate threat to the aircraft or the occupants or anything, so I wouldn't say there's a pan, but you're certainly going to need to now brief ATC and say, look, we need to divert to Edinburgh. We have a failure of our nose wheel, we've got a problem with our nose wheel steering and there's a failure, and we'd have to give them sort of special instructions and just say, look, we don't have any nose wheel steering, so the important thing about this was we'd have to stop on the runway, so we'd have to stop and we'd have to have a tug standing by, so we would need to make sure that a tug is standing by when we land, because then obviously then they can, you know, drag us off the runway and go and take us to a stand to fix us. We would brief the crew, so I would probably, at this point, I suppose, I'd probably be putting the belts on, and I would do, was it not that button up there, I would do attention crew at stations on the PA, and this is just basically now told the cabin crew there is a problem. So straight away, they would think, oh, this is interesting, because they wouldn't have noticed anything, they wouldn't have heard anything, they wouldn't have smelled anything, they wouldn't have felt anything. There would be no sensory input to this whatsoever. So the cabin crew just would have been doing their service in the back, and then I just would have done that PA, and they just could have gone, oh, something's gone wrong. The only time we do that PA is if something's gone wrong. So straight away, the cabin crew would then be stopping their services, they'd be putting the trolleys away, and they'd now be expecting effectively what we call a NITS brief to the cabin crew. So that's nature of the problem, our intentions, the time, and then the specialist sort of instructions that they need. So I'd let them sort of give them a bit of time to do things, and I don't know, guys. Yeah, so this is going to leave it at the junctures. So do you want me to clear this and continue on to Akureyri and just basically clear the faults, or would you like me to divert? This is kind of up to you. I'm going to sort of leave you in the hands of Ops now, of whether you want me to clear us or not, because I can continue. We've got a failure. It's not there. It's interesting. It's not actually there. Don't know why it's not in the failure things, but it's on the ECAM. So in real life, if we had this, we'd be turning around and going back to Edinburgh and sort of looking, so we'd be looking at the charts, just making sure we get the arrivals. Do we have any ATC on, actually? We got Edinburgh Tower, so it could be interesting. Clear it. 1 vote for clear it. Clear it. 2. Yeah, they wouldn't hear me say that though. That's the thing, Christian, because I'm behind the closed door. So yeah, we'd go down to Edinburgh. Obviously, brief the crew what it is, just saying we're stopping the run. Again, this is a relatively minor problem with the weather. It's not going to cause a major issue at all. The main difference is we're going to land on the runway, and then we're just going to stop, and then we're going to get tugged off and tugged over to the sort of stand, and then that'd be, obviously you'd have to brief the passengers as well and say, look, we've got some sort of problem, you know, it's a minor technical issue. It's unfortunately the steering for the aircraft is not working, so you know we can't steer on the ground very well, but you know, it's not really a major issue. You know, we can still steer on the ground, we just can't steer around corners. As you know, you would obviously think about what you're saying and sort of give them some sort of abbreviated sort of situational brief, I suppose, and just say, look, we're going to turn around back to Edinburgh. We've got engineering in Gatwick, in Edinburgh, and that's effectively what we would do. So I like how everyone's saying clear it, but I don't actually have the failure to clear. So I might have to turn around. It's not in the failures, so I might have to, I might have to turn around anyway. Config. Manuals. Oh, it's in gear. There we go. So it has popped up. So there we go. So it has, yeah, it's appeared there as a failure. Yeah, you just brief the passenger and say, look, really sorry, it's, go to Edinburgh and we'll sort ourselves out. And potentially we've got given ops plenty of time now where they could probably call another aircraft off standby. Although saying that, if we landed in Edinburgh, I doubt there's many qualified crew in Edinburgh to fly back to Akureyri. So, we'd have to then make an operational decision. Are we going to land, change the aircraft, potentially fix the aircraft or change the aircraft, and then carry on? That would then obviously turn it into a, maybe a 3-sector day as well. So you'd have to look at your flight time limitations as well. Are you within hours to go to Akureyri for the 2nd sector, then all the way back to Gatwick? It might not be an hours to do that, so we might then have to then take off again, land in Akureyri, and maybe night stop there. That's another thing we've got to do. It's not very nice weather there, so we have to make sure that the aircraft's going to be protected in that sort of condition. So yeah, it's a little bit of it, a little bit of thinking with this one. Certainly the destination we go into, any other normal destination wouldn't be too much of a problem, because there's a good chance that a replacement crew could come on and disappear to that destination. But clear it, go for it. If you can't clear it, maybe you can still try a differential. Yeah, I might just be able to... Can I just clear it in here? I like how everybody's just saying clear it. It's the first proper failure I've had on stream, and everybody wants me to effectively disregard it and just carry on. If I just clear that. I really don't want to go to Akureyri with this problem, because I can't steer on the ground. That is the issue. So I know everybody's saying clear it, and I do appreciate that feedback, but I don't think I can actually go. So I might have to turn around, guys, which is frustrating. There's nothing there. I can't clear anything. You can't clear... Oh, there we go. You can't clear random... Well, there's a decision then, isn't it? So, look, the landing in Akureyri, don't worry about it, because there's a tutorial. So what I can do is I can generally release the tutorial for Akureyri reasonably after this. So... yeah, get an extra hours. Yeah, I can't, because I've got to take the dog for a walk. So there we go, that's the decision. So we're basically now looking at diverting to Edinburgh. So that decision has been made. The other thing we need to do is look at our landing weight. So at the minute we're above max landing weight as well. So that's the other thing we just want to consider. We probably won't be below that by the time we get back. So just have a very quick look at the overweight landing checklist. Again, it's not really a major issue. QRH, it's a pretty straightforward thing. We touched on this on the ground in Gatwick. Miscellaneous, where are you? Overweight landing. So again, the overweight landing procedure. So it's just going to talk about it. It says use config full for landing unless specified with the abnormal procedure or limited by the landing performance. So flat full should be fine. I think we do want to have a quick look at as well before we sort of really make the decision. Is probably just make sure we can actually get into Edinburgh. So EGPH. So before we really commit to it. Runway 24, it's going to be good, I think, at least. Apply the meter. Our landing weight, what are we going to be at? We're going to be about 67 tons, I should think, by the time we get there. So again, we're just sort of collecting all this information before we really know. Is there any... I just want to see if there's any failure that I can select. Braking, that's just anti-skid. No, it's none of those. Hydraulics. Nope. No, so I don't think there's any failures that I can actually select. I would normally be able to select that in FlySmart, but 67 medium order brake, max reverse. So there we go. That is absolutely fine. It's going to go medium. So there we go. So we can get into Edinburgh, so we know. Let's have a quick look at an arrival. We can start turning around. Oh, not that one. EG. So you can see that this failure, although it's relatively important, there's no rush, absolutely no rush. I'm still carting off towards Akureyri at this point. I'm not turning around because, you know, there's no rush to do it. You know, there's no panic. Just assume that as proper technicians. Yeah, but I can't land, Christian. It's not so much. It's not the match. It's the wind is so shit. I'm not landing with no nose wheel steering. So, as much as I like your enthusiasm, it ain't happening, buddy. All right, it's as simple as that. Let's do runway 24. So there we go. We've got Perth 1 Golf. This is good. This is interesting because it's showing a diversion. So let's put this in Baku EGPH. You know, sorry, but as a commander's decision here, this isn't happening. So let's change this. Let's put that arrival 24. Perth 1 Golf. So I'm just keeping it on there for a minute. I don't know what's happening to the pressurization. Performance. Yeah, wind is. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. The wind is too shitty. Hey, don't worry. I've got the tutorial that I can release pretty much almost straight away, which shows things. So it's not. This isn't a bad exercise to do. So temperature 7. QNH is 1028. It is dropping. Winds 250 at 5. So that's fine. Let's have a look. There's Edinburgh. A bit more exciting anyway. It's actually made the stream a bit more exciting for once. Approach ILS24. Minimum's 300 feet. There's no go around problems. So yeah, even though max landing weight, that's fine. So there we go. That's done. That's done. That could come in EGPH 24. Performance. Not going to worry about that. Fuel, so yeah, still loads of extra fuel secondary. That can be a copy now. Right, so let's see if we can start turning right towards Perth, I think. There we go. So again, at this point we'll be speaking to ATC, saying, look, I need to divert to Edinburgh, so I'm sure they'll be saying, right turn back direct to Perth is approved. They probably want us to go on a lower flight level. So that's the other thing. Because we're now turning around, we're now flying in a different direction. So what is it? South is probably odds. So yeah, odds. What are we going to be? 1, 2, 3. So we need to descend. So we might as well just go down 1,000 feet. So there we go. Thrust hold 100% flight level 330 blue. Surely you're not going to have the same problems landing. You're not going to. How do you mean backers? Sorry, what was? Yeah, so it's like 1 knot crosswind or something in Edinburgh. I mean, the wind is straight down the strip in Akureyri, but it's very, very windy. That's the thing. So of course, as soon as you start turning on the apron and stuff on a potentially contaminated runway, you know, with snow and stuff, you know, do you really want to be doing that? There you go, 1 knot crosswind jet. Do you really want to be doing that if you don't have nose wheel steering? You know, that's something which I wouldn't. So there we go, it's out. So let's have a quick look at the arrival. Let's get you, pin you, pin you. So we've got Perth, Grice, and then Steerer at flight level 70, then probably radar vectors after that. Which looks like is what's in the flight plan. Oh, come on. Perth, Grice, yeah. No idea. Not going by Tala. That's better. Yeah, there's a good chance we might just get a shortcut as well. So we might not do all of that. Just get a shortcut Perth down to the final approach track. Yeah, it's again, Christian. You're looking at least risk, and a few other things. You know, is going to Akureyri the least risk option? Probably not. Does the company want the aircraft stuck in Akureyri with a technical problem with no engineers to fix it? Probably not. You know, so there's a certain amount of sort of communication and coordination that goes on with the operations department. And yes, you may be able to land in Akureyri. Yes, you may not have directional problems with the landing so much because the wind stays straight on the strip. But do you really want to be testing that out? Especially Keflavik. Keflavik weather was horrendous. That was proper crosswinds at, you know, maybe 40 knots. So Keflavik's not really an option for you. So you want to probably, if you can't get into Akureyri, you're coming back to sort of Scotland anyway. So why waste all the fuel and the time and everything else going up there to have a look at it only to come back, when in reality you're probably just going to you know, come straight back to Edinburgh anyway, and the company will probably want to go and want that there so they can fix it. So that is the options. I am going to see if I can message. How can I message? How do you message? Is it dot message EGPH tower? Hang on. I just want to see if they are going to stay online. Beach. And diverting to yourselves. Oh, there we go. I think I've done it. Right, so let's have another quick review. So constantly just keep reviewing yourself. So we've diagnosed the problem. We've looked at sort of options. Sort of Edinburgh's definitely the best option, which is why we go in there. That's the decision. Assigning tasks. So we'd probably sort of give control to the FO. The ECAM action's been complete, so I would have given control to the FO by this point. And he could have done the flyby, sort of manage everything else. Reviewing everything. I don't think there's much else to do. We've got the overweight landing checklist, which I need to go through, which I haven't quite gone through. Would have spoken to the crew, said this is what we're going to do. We're going to be landing in Edinburgh in, what's that, 09. So probably in about 30 minutes time. And the special instructions would literally be just getting the ATC. Can you just right click, double click? I think I've done it, Christian. Yeah, I think I've done it, don't worry. So yeah, spoken to, oh there we go, oh yes, I didn't know that was it, well done. Spoken to passengers as well, spoken to ops. Let's have a quick look at the overweight landing checklist, because still haven't gone through there. So landing distance procedure we've applied. So it says for the approach, pack 1 and 2 off or supplied by the APU. So when we're on the approach, maybe about 15,000 feet, we'll start the APU and then the bleed system can come off then. If landing config other than full, use config 1 plus F the go around. Where it's not, config 4 is absolutely fine. Speed at the threshold, so the runway threshold, VLS, so the speed, the VAP, according to this, is 142. So when we start getting close to the threshold, I'm going to wind select the speed down to about 137 knots. Minimise the vertical speed at touchdown. Now the caveat's been taken out of the QRH recently in the last few years, but it used to say no more than 360-minute rate of descent, because then engineers need to get involved or do more checks. Now they'll have to do a check anyway because it's an overweight landing. For the landing, increase the flare height, use maximum reverse as soon as possible, and then after the nose wheel touchdown, apply brakes as necessary. Then once the landing is complete, put the brake fans on. So relatively straightforward landing, not much difference really, just flare a little bit higher, apply a sort of max manual braking I suppose, and then once we come to a stop we put the brake fans on. I still haven't replied to the missus, shit, I forgot about that. I've got to reply, she wanted to know what I'm having for dinner. We're closing very shortly. Oh wait, no worries. No worries. Steering full. Stopping on the runway. Tug. See that's not possible. So disconnect once I've landed. Ugh. Just north. Just to. There we go. Right, so they're going to be closing shortly anyway. So do this all on Unicom. Right, that's done. That's done. So this is all set up. Radnavs, India Tango Hotel. That's the ILS. That's there. Performance is done. That's all done. Fuel, loads of fuel. Not going to worry about that. Secondary is fine as well. So let's start going down to about 70, I think. And oh, hello, buddy. Oh, he's come back in again. So we've got thrust at 100%, flat over 70, blue. Hello, mate. You're right. It's alright, I'll be landing soon and then we can do stuff. Oh, I don't know what that route is. Just out of curiosity, I wonder why Airbus didn't install... because they don't need to backers, because you can land above max landing weight. So, you know, structurally, it's absolutely fine. You know, if you can do it, then there's no requirement to dump fuel. I think that's the reasoning behind it. Anyway, that's as far as I'm aware. Yeah, right. Let's set this. So what's the QH1028? Should have pre-selected this as well. 1028. Right. Let's do a quick Unicom call. Edinburgh traffic, EC28 Tango Sierra. We are about 60 miles north of Edinburgh. We're diverting to Edinburgh due to a nosewheel steering fault. We've been making the approach in around 15 minutes time, and the intentions will be to land on runway 24, and then we will be stopping on the runway for a few 30 seconds or so, and obviously we'll disconnect once we come to a complete stop. So everybody's been told, so everyone knows our intentions. That's on, that's on. What else have I done? That's on below. Good. We're all ready. So there we go. Identified where you are at the moment. There is no departure schedule. Rise runway used to 4. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you. So Tower's just got back to me. I think they're closing soon. Hey, Dark. Christian. Yeah. We may have a Scottish cabin manager on board. You never know. Right, let's just get down because I don't really... I'm not really in a rush to start the approach, but we can go down to there. We know, was it Stura is our clearance limit point, but we'll probably just get radar vectors maybe at some point pulled off. Of a straight on. I don't think we quite got the distance for that. We probably need about 90 miles, so we might just have to go downwind a little bit and then back round and then do that. I think that's what we do just to get the height off. MSA really didn't discuss that, but 4,000 feet within 25 miles, that's okay, so we're well above that at the minute. Looking like a nice day, should be visual with a lot of it. Oh yeah, there we go. Sadly, they've all gone off controllers. Yeah, this is something nice that GSX could do, wouldn't it? Because they've got the pushback option. It'd be nice if you could then request a tug from the runway. I don't know how they would do that, but maybe, you know, they've got a tug and they've got a pushback option. It'd be nice if they have then quite literally a tug option to you know, tug the aircraft to somewhere you want. If I had time, would have come on. Oh, yeah, don't worry. I wouldn't worry too much, Dark, because there's not much you can do, because literally once we come to a stop, that's it. We're basically, you know, we're going to be, you know, not moving. So there isn't much you would have been able to do as a ground controller. You know, the tower controller is probably quite useful, because then it can just sort of delay departures and arrivals. So have a quick look at the radar as well, to see if there is anybody coming in. Just don't want to get in the way of people. We got, there is a shuttle, he's going to Glasgow. He's oh, that's me. Good. So I don't think there's any. There doesn't appear to be any inbounds at the minute close to Edinburgh, which is nice. It doesn't seem to be any departures on the ground either. So good. That's all done. Oh, behave. Yes, I know the speed brake's still out. They shouldn't get this. This is wrong. You shouldn't be getting it an ECAM, because the thrust is effectively idle. the speed breaks out. So yeah, I don't really know why it's doing this. So that's just a wrong ECAM. You wouldn't get this in real life at all. Just ignore that. So I probably would have asked the cabin to prepare the cabin for landing as well. That's the other thing we need to do. So they've all been briefed. Don't think there's anything else. It's a constant sort of question, what haven't you done? What next? Just stick to 100 knots, taxi speed, yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, the nose wheel steering through the rudders become active at around, is it 80 knots? I can't remember, or 100 knots, I can't remember what it is. But that is a threat, you know, so we have to sort of maintain our runway centre line. We're going to have to do that using the rudder until we're about to sort of, I don't know, 100 knots, and then after that I'm going to have to use differential braking. So that's going to be really interesting to try that, because I know the differential braking on this can be a little bit sensitive. So if we can maintain runway centre line with this failure, I think we would have done a pretty decent job. Could also have a bug, so rudder still gives you 6%. Okay, yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to try that once we're down to taxi speed, if I use the rudder pedals just to see how much nose wheel steering authority it gives. Now I think I've tried that. I've tried that using the loss of braking memory items, and I've turned the nose wheel steering switch off, which is part of the loss of braking memory items, and the rudder didn't do anything. It didn't do anything at all. In terms of the nose wheel steering, it didn't actually move it. So, you know, they did actually replicate that system pretty well. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get to Akureyri now, but I suppose the weather was so crap, isn't it? At least I haven't had to do it. So where's Edinburgh? It's down here somewhere. It's just on the other side of the Forth, is it? Over here somewhere. So we've got 40 miles, only about 40, yeah, been about 50 odd miles to go, which we're almost there. I'm just going to maintain runway heading. I'm sorry, the track in a minute. Let's tidy this up. Inbound QDM, that's 060, yeah. So if we need to just go a little bit left and a bit more right to get back on profile. You can't know what your nose wheel deflection would be when deployed. Would you do? No, because I think the QRH or the FCOM was suggesting that if you got the landing gear shock absorber fault with this, that's basically telling you that the nose wheel isn't aligned with the sort of centerline axis of the aircraft. So if you had that landing gear shock absorber fault as well with this, possibly on the status page, I guess, then you could probably be sure that the nose wheel steering isn't aligned correctly. But because it didn't have that, you know, I think we can safely say the nose wheel should be aligned. So yes, it's maybe a threat, but you know, I think Airbus are saying it should be fine because we didn't get that shock absorber fault. We will get this status as soon as we go flat one. This status page will come up as well, but we'll just obviously clear that. So let's do the approach checks. So approach checks barrier ref is not 6, not 10 is an altitude. We can probably do that now. 3,000. So let's set the QNH. So there we go. That's 3,000 blues. The approach checks. Barrier ref is QNH 1028. Seatbelts, they should be on. Yes, because the ECAM's there. Seatbelts are on. Minimum, we got barrier 300 feet sets. Auto brake is medium, and EFB is stowed and connected. Come off. So there you go. Get about 3,000 feet just before the centre line. That's looking good. Let's just arm the approach. Okay, and because we're heavy, we're just going to slow down. It's going to take a while to slow down. India Tango Hotels identified. Oh, interesting. Yeah. I like how Edinburgh ground is on. Is that you, Dark? 121755. Yeah, I mean, there isn't really much I can do. That's the thing. I mean, as soon as I land, it's a bit pointless because I just have to disconnect. 755. There we go. Well, at least the ground's on frequency, just in case. So yeah, the other thing, when you are overweight, your next characteristic speed, I don't think it's quite the case in this, looks like, because green dot's well below VFE, but so potentially your next characteristic speed can be above VFE. So if you need to do that, you do need to basically select VFE -5, and then when you cross VFE, then you get the next stage of flaps out. Which, interestingly, it doesn't actually say that in the QRH, which it used to. It used to say that. It's probably in the SCTM now. It's probably all in there. I wonder if there's anything in the SCTM. Very quickly. Come on. SCTM. Systems. Yeah, there is something in the FCT. No. No, there's nothing in there which I haven't already said, which is bloody useless. No. Okay. Thought there might have been, but there isn't. Spanish speed. Maybe they got rid of it to make curation. Possibly, Christian. Yeah, this is what worries me. You know, you fly with some of the younger guys. You know, and don't get me wrong, they're brilliant. You know, they're really knowledgeable. But some of this information is slowly disappearing, and it's quite useful information for them because it just builds up their situational awareness, their resilience, and it sort of makes them aware of kind of the systems, I suppose. You know, just how things work. So it is quite useful. Right, let's get the AP one because that's what we said we were going to do. And by removing this, you're then reliant on, you know, sort of more old crusty guys to sort of tell them what to do, to help them learn, which, you know, is fine. But then they're reliant on old crusty guys like me that is not always remembering things. Edinburgh traffic, EZ28 X-ray Sierra, about 20 miles from the airfield now. We're just heading sort of in southeast direction to pick up the ILS for runway 24. And we'll be making the approach onto runway 24 and then stopping on the runway, Edinburgh traffic. At least it's a nice day. Maybe they'll bring out a new handbook. I don't know what the. Yeah, I've said that a few in my Sims a couple of times. You know, that's definitely come out. Right, so the APU's available. Just going to give that a minute or so just to settle down. Alright, let's go flat one, speed jets, flat one. So there's the status, so just double checking that, Cat 3 single only still, so again we should only get Cat 3 single on the FMA, it won't say, which shouldn't say Cat 3 dual. Cat 3 dual obviously in up and so no dual steering, so there's no change in that, we can remove the status. So you can see S-speed is below VFE, so we're absolutely fine with that one. Yeah, let's just select S-speed for the time being. Right, so let's just get the APU supplying the packs. I'm just going to turn Pat 2 off. APU bleed can come on. Now it looks like it's doing its thing. It's supplying Pat 1. Now Pack 2 can come back on. There we go. So we got both packs now being supplied by the APU, which is effectively what we want, just to give us the best performance. Arm you up. So there we go. Glide slope lock blue. Cat 3 single. That's expected. AP 1 and 2. It's 1,000 to go. So again, VLS is 137. We want to select that as we're getting close to the threshold. And one thing I didn't do was, I wonder if I can do it quickly. Right, hopefully this won't crash the sim, but EGPH, that's changed. EZ028. Was it X-ray Sierra, isn't it? Speed out start. Right, I've just got the banner on just to see. Hopefully that won't crash the sim or the stream, because that'll be sod's law then, wouldn't it? It'll probably do that. It'd do a crash on final like it did the other day on the Audi flat I did. Right, lock star. Let's go flat 2, speed jets. Flaps 2. But hopefully we'll have the banner now, so at least hopefully we might be able to see the landing rate. Over traffic, EZ28 X-ray Sierra's final approach 50 miles on runway 24. Going to speak to ground now. Ground hello, it's EZ28 X-ray Sierra on the final runway 24, just information.
EZ2 X-ray Sierra, ground control only, continue Unicom and call me when vacated, please.
Yeah, thank you. Just to inform you, we've got actually a nose-wheel steering fault, so we'll be unable to vacate off the runway. So just to let you know what's going to go on, we're going to land and then just stop on the runway, and then obviously we'll just disconnect because we won't be able to get off after that point.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, be back to Unicom now. Thanks, EZ28 X-ray Sierra. Right, so he's been told, so he knows what's going on. Right, missed approach, if we need to do it, is 3,000. So glide slope start, missed approach altitude set. Let's just go manage speed. Definitely feels a little bit twitchy, certainly in pitch. Okay, let's get the gear down. Just want to do everything nice and early. There's no rush for this. Again, we've got loads of fuel on board. And again, 67 tons. We're just about a ton over max landing weight. Radio Thomas is alive. So you're good. We've got 3 greens, so at least the gear's down. There's no problems there. Just obviously the nose wheel steering, that's still a fault. And your doors are up. Now let's go flat 3. Speed check. Flat 3. Flat 4. Let's check flat 4. Oh, FO's nice and happy about something. What do you want, mate? You good? Behave. I hope that wasn't the doorbell. I'll pick it up in a second. That's all right. Right, landing checks. Cabinet is secure for landing. Current altitude. It's all right, mate. It's fine. 3,000 feet is eco is landing. No blues. See, nobody would ever burgle this house, would they? Anyway, traffic EC28 X-ray Sierra. We're at 5 mile final from runway 24. We're landing, then just coming to a stop on the runway for 30 seconds. Then disconnect. Post. Yeah, someone. Yeah, it was a delivery driver. Why do they always come at the most inappropriate time as well? Right, so I'm just going to pull speed for the time being. Just pull that. So we've got selected 143, 137 is what we want once we're crossing the threshold. I'm just going to leave the automatics in a little bit longer as well, just because I want to enjoy the view more than anything. Look at the golf courses. That looks quite hard, doesn't it? There's lots of trees around there. So yeah, I'd be losing my balls everywhere in that one. Yeah. No, it's not open enough. Right. Here we go then. I think we're all set up. Usually when you're bog, yeah, usually. Alright, disconnecting.
$500.
500 stable. So I don't mind if I land a little bit early on this one. Of 3 reds I'm happy with. Trying to make up as much runway as possible.
100 above.
Oops.
200. Minimum.
Right, 137.
100.
Flight slow.
40,
Disregard.
30. 20. Retard.
Alright, spoilers. Reverse green. Max manual braking. No, easy. No problems. Yeah, we can see I've got a bit of rudder deflection in, but not a huge amount of steering available. So probably what you'd likely do is just stop just before the intersection. Just give the tug crew plenty of time. A little bit of differential braking, that seems to be working. A little bit sensitive as expected. Don't really want to try and vacate with differential braking. I think that would just be embarrassing. Yeah, I don't think that would work very well. Right, parking brake is on. There you go. Brake fans are on. That's the overweight landing checklist complete as well. Disconnect that. So again, just probably do attention crew at stations just to tell the girls that we've stopped, girls and boys. Then just speak to ATC. Probably keep an eye on the brake temperatures. Probably want maybe want the fire services just to sort of keep monitor those. Those would probably be a lot higher or start going up. And then we just get the tug, which I don't think is available. No, there's no tug available normally. That's it. And Edinburgh traffic EC28 X-ray Sierra is just down the runway. Thanks. Granular again, EC28 X-ray Sierra. Thanks for that. We're just going to stop on the runway and we'll be disconnected in about 20 seconds.
EC28 X-ray Sierra, roger.
So there we go, guys. That's pretty much it. That's all that we need to do. So just stop, wait for a tug. They'll come and connect to us. We'd probably want to sort of time this as well. Just time 3 minutes. And once you've had 3 minutes, we can probably stop the engines as well, because we're not going to need those much longer because the tug's going to take us somewhere. So once you've had 3 minutes, probably start looking at maybe shutting the engines down. Obviously you'd want to go, probably go through a few things, tidy a few things up, do the after landing checks as per normal. So all of that TCAS would come off. What else would do?
A320
That's done. That's done. The AQ is
A320
already on.
you can't fly a Tower departure in a jet. This will be a Gotham departure. I will have a reroute for you in 2 minutes.
That's done. Turn the lights off. So yeah, we just sit here now and just wait for the engines to cool down. Then you'd get a tug attached. You may get the tug attached once you've had the engine shut down, and then they're just going to tug you off. They're going to do tug you. Oh God, I literally just heard myself say that. They would tug you off. Yeah, they would tug you off. Yeah, you've done a great job. You've landed in. Look at that. You're still bang on the centre line. So you'd have a really good job of being tugged off. Just. You know what I mean? That's, oh my God, that is a horrendous thing to say, isn't it? You would be towed off the runway and towed to a stand, and then you would meet the engineers, and then they would look at it, and then you'd go, yeah, there we go, it doesn't work. And they go, oh, okay, and then you'd leave it to them. So that is it, guys. That's pretty much it for the failure. It's just disconnect. It's not buggering people up. Classic HD, yeah, there we go. Talk about Freudian slips. You know, I was being perfectly innocent as well, and you just drag it into the gutter every time. So that's it. And yeah, unfortunately, I can't do anything else. I wonder if I can. Clear it actually. So I probably can't. Config. Maintenance. I wonder if I can clear failures. I wonder if I just connect. Oh, I've closed high brake temps. I'm just wondering if I can actually fix it, which I might at least be able to taxi off then. Maintenance. Is it in landing gear? I think it was landing gear, wasn't it? Yeah, let's just see if they can fix this. I should have kept ATC online really, because they might have been able to actually fix it on the ground. At least then I could taxi off under my own power, and just, you know, we just pretend that this has been not fixed, but then we can pretend that the tug's taken us somewhere instead. Which will clear. It takes like 10 minutes. Did it take 10 minutes? Yeah, God. I mean, sitting here for 10 minutes, doesn't it? Which I suppose you'd probably, you know, you'd be there for a while in real life anyway. I might just leave it there, guys, because I'm not sitting here for 10 minutes just rambling on about being tugged off and various other things, because it's just going to cause carnage. So, anyway, sorry I didn't get a chance to go to Iceland. What I will do is I will try and, obviously this will be uploaded as a stream, and then I will try and then make the, give the tutorial. I'll upload that, so then you can see that at least. It might be turned on the failure. That might be, yeah, we'll have a look. We'll give it a few minutes. But yeah, then I'll upload the tutorial on Akureyri, so at least then you can see that. So I didn't obviously get there today. But there we go. I suppose that's real life for you, isn't it? That's what it's like in real life. You know, sometimes you don't always go there. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to worry too much about this. And oh, there we go. Item under repair. Oh, it is repairing itself. Okay, I may leave it a minute. Maybe give it a minute. Okay, it's obviously found the problem, so it's just trying to fix it. So yeah, we'll wait. Get a proper maintained aircraft. Yeah, we'll try to. I can see, no, there's nobody on the runway here. I won't log in on VATSIM because that will just that won't be very fair for the port controller. I'll come off. The annoying thing about being towed is the when you get towed with the tug, it's very, very slow. Maybe don't use that line on the Wi-Fi. No. Yeah, I do need Chelsea. Where is he? Haven't seen him for ages. Yeah, if I thought about this, I could have stayed on like and just said, oh, we're just getting it repaired. We're going to be here for 10 minutes or something, and once it's done, then we can come off. I think it's lunchtime anyway. I think I've earned me lunch. Come on. Does take a while, doesn't it? How is that? You call it lunch? Oh, there we go. Oh, good. It's done. Right. Let's come off. Let's reconnect. In fact, there isn't anybody. It's probably a bit faux pas, isn't it, to do it actually when you're on the runway. So yeah, you would be towed back to the stand at probably about 4 or 5 knots, and it would just take forever. They're not the fastest, unfortunately. There you go, let's reconnect. Oh, I think ground's come offline anyway, isn't it? No, they are there. Edinburgh ground, thanks very much. ET28 X-ray Sierra. Sorry about that, we've come back online now. The problem's resolved itself. If you could just give us a stand to park up, that'd be great, please.
ED28 X-ray Sierra, taxi stand 1 via Alpha Echo, welcome back.
Thanks, 1 via Alpha Echo, EC28 X-ray Sierra. I could have actually stayed online, that would have been good for you, just to sit on the runway for 5 minutes until that was being fixed, but I thought just out of courtesy I came offline.
No, it's best, especially if there's no tower, because I cannot stop anyone from landing on top of you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's fine, it's cheers, thanks. Right, where's your stand 1? Parking stands, there we go. So stand 1 is, so it's sort of down on,
46, we're ready to copy clearance.
on the apron over here somewhere.
Easy 46, stand by.
So, right, I think that's done. That's done. APU's good. Probably don't need pack 2. That's off. That's off. That's off. That's all done. Done all those. That's all done. Gates 1. There we go. Nope. Yeah, no idea.
Easy 46, I have your clearance report ready to copy.
Go ahead, ET46.
Easy 46, with the reroute cleared Stansted, it's the Gotham 1 Charlie departure. Squawk 7015, the Edinburgh QNH 1028.
I'm quite impressed the stream has stayed alive as well.
So 1 Charlie and the reroute squawk.
So yeah, oh, there you go, the rudder is, I know,
Fenix
it's fixed, isn't it? I was just about to say the rudder's actually working quite well for the nose wheel steering now, but it's worked, so it's been fixed, so that's probably why it's working. But it had a little bit of rudder authority for the steering once we landed on the runway. So it wasn't too bad. Wasn't as bad as I thought, but I mean, yeah, you definitely don't want to be landing with strong crosswinds if you have a nose wheel steering fault. It's probably not a good idea.
Shuttle 9 Tango, I have to reconnect, see you in a minute.
Shuttle 9 Tango, roger.
So yeah, of course, once you've sort of shut down, you'd be having a word with the company, seeing what the next plan is. Would you still be going to Akureyri? I don't think there'd be any crews in Edinburgh that are cleared to fly up there, because obviously it's a CATSI airfield, so That conversation will be taking place. You'd either sort of night stop here, maybe do it tomorrow. That depends how long it would take to get fixed, I suppose, normally. So yeah, you might do it tomorrow, you might do it tonight, and night stop in Akureyri. It'd probably be easier to night stop here, I think. Probably just do it first thing in the morning, but yeah, those conversations will be taking place as well. So yeah, it's quite a lot to think about. Obviously we do have operations and other parts of the business to sort of look after us. Should have been on really, but maybe I can go off. That's good, the APU's there, accumulator's good. I suppose in that respect it was quite a nice stream just to sort of show you a diversion really. Clear on the left and the right. Fussy. There we go. Yeah, it's bang brakes on. That's all fine. At the time, engine's coming off. That's done. That's done. Yeah, that's it, and then we do the parking checks. So yeah, tuck his waste from me. So yeah, there we go, guys. That's well, that was not Akureyri. That's Edinburgh for you. Wasn't quite the plan, but there we go. That's what happens when you get a failure. You've got to do what's best, and certainly pay attention to the failure and make a sensible decision, which is effectively what we did. So yeah, that's exactly probably what we would have done in real life. Probably would have diverted down to Edinburgh and sort of stayed there, and I'm sure they would have fixed the problem. And then something probably would have happened, not really too sure. I would have gone back this afternoon or probably gone back tomorrow. It really would have been down to operations, I suppose, of what they wanted to do. But yeah, I think the decision to sort of carry on to Akureyri was probably not quite the right one. So anyway, that was that stream. I'm going to have to amend the details now, of course, of that flight, because that isn't quite what we did. But I will publish the Akureyri video very shortly, probably the next half hour or so, and then I'll get that up, and then that just sort of shows you the Akureyri tutorial and just sort of talks about a few things. So kind of then just discusses the arrivals and departures and stuff. So you can still see that. You'll be able to see that very, very shortly. So hopefully that's reasonably useful, guys. Hopefully the sort of diversion was quite interesting to see, and just sort of see the workload management, I suppose. And there was no real rush. I mean, that was a pretty straightforward failure. With no major sort of issues, I suppose. Just a couple of sort of handling things to worry about, you know, sort of directional control for the landing. But hopefully I'll sort of work through the management for you reasonably well. So there we go, guys. Have a good day. Have a good week. Hopefully, what day is it? Wednesday tomorrow. Don't think I'll be able to stream tomorrow, but might be able to stream Thursday potentially. So I might be able to get back on there. So yeah, maybe we can go back to Akureyri Thursday. No, we'll do something. Okay, see you later, guys. Have a good day, and have a good afternoon. Cheerio. Bye-bye.